Okay, welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to go through the Naismith Rule. This is a guide on how far you walk and how long it's going to take you. Now, before I get into the rule, I want to give you a little bit of kind of background so you can see where I'm going with this. The last test on the Royal Marines Commando course is a 30-miler in 10 hours with their kit, with their base kit. So their webbing on, their rifle, ammunition, quite heavy kit that they're carrying. Now those guys and girls are supremely fit. They do 30 miles in 10 hours as their last test. We divide that down, that's 3 miles an hour walking. Now they do this on Dartmoor and Exmoor, pretty rough terrain, and it's a bit hellish to go across. But that's 3 miles an hour constantly for 10 hours. Pretty rough test. That is just to give you a kind of guideline of where I'm going with this and what the Naismith Rule might practically mean to you. Now, William Naismith wrote a rule in 1892. He was an expedition leader from Scotland and he went out on lots of expedition hikes and climbs. He wrote a rule that said you can cover 5 kilometers walking in 1 hour. So 5 kilometers is 3 miles. That's pretty hard going. That's pushing. That's the Royal Marine Commando's standards. He also said for every 100 meters you gain in altitude, so everything that you can see on a contour line on a map that says 100 meters gain, you add 10 minutes. So 5 kilometers 1 hour plus every 100 meters, 100 meters, add 10 minutes. This helps us so when we look at a map, we can get a rough guide of how far we're going to go within an hour. So every kilometer takes 12 minutes. And we know if it's got a lot of contour lines and it's very steep, how much time to add. So this is, we can look at a map, give ourselves a rough guide of how long that hill walk is going to take us. It's a pretty good guide. It's very, very rough. He wrote it in 1892. People were a lot fitter in 1892 and walked a lot more anyway. There's no cars, there's no buses, there's no transport. They walked a lot. So he's writing it from a guide of a person living in 1892. Like I said, and compared to the Royal Marines Commando course, also says 3 miles an hour. Right, you get where I'm going. What I'd use the Naismith Rule for is a rough, approximate minimum amount of time any hill walk would take me. I'm a fairly fit lad. What I like to do is just add 25%. Depending on your fitness level, use it as a rough guide, add 50%. It doesn't really matter, it's just a rough guide. From the Naismith Rule, and the reason why it's still used from 1892 till today is because it's very easy. 5 kilometers, 1 hour, 100 meters, add 10 minutes. Very simple. There have been attempts at corrections on it to make it more and more accurate. It hasn't really worked. There's some that go into your body style, how thin you are, how big you are. There's other corrections out there. You can have a look at them on Wikipedia, you can see all the corrections on there. I've never used any of the corrections. What I have done is if I'm on really rough terrain, if I'm on Dartmoor or Exmoor or in the hills in Scotland, I go from 5 kilometers an hour down to 4 kilometers an hour if I'm hill walking. If you're an ultra marathon runner, you're going to have to work out your own paces. I know people who can run a double marathon with a rucksack in 8 hours. I know other people like me that it takes over 10 hours. Work it out for yourselves. You can use the Naismith Rule or rough guide as a rough guide. It just gives you an idea of how long things are going to take you. I hope that helps. Before the weather closes in, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee and hopefully get home before. Oh no, it looks a little bit better now. It looked a bit terrible earlier. So I'm going to grab a coffee and then get on with this hike because I am in the middle of nowhere. I've got a long way to go. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like just underneath, subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing, and we'll try and bring you more videos about hill walking, getting outside and enjoying the outdoors.